In a beautiful morning, welcome to Daybreak Africa on KAFTAN television. My name is Miracle Odunayo.
And top of the morning to you. Welcome once again to Daybreak Africa from our studio in Ondo State, which is the sunshine state of the nation. It's a beautiful morning. My name is Ikhonede Joshua.
Good morning. Good morning. It's good to see your face this new week again.
This new week is good to see everybody's faces in the actual sense. Down to the cameraman, to
everybody that work together.
And especially those that shout like Raphael, especially always behind
the scene.
And all that. You guys don't. I don't wish you meet a personality like Raphael in the actual. Especially
guys,
it could be very difficult. Monday morning in the actual sense. And the way he goes about his own things. And I think he wants to be a pastor now. So I'm wondering how
maybe
look like.
Well, let's just expect the best.
I don't want to expect anything with him.
No, anybody can change, you know.
Yeah, he will.
He will. We hope so.
But then I saw something on social media. I don't know why I don't check much of social media, like the entertainment spaces.
Okay.
These days, like consistently, like
it's because of the happening in the country. It's
the happenings in the country.
Overwhelming. It was
this period I saw that a plane, an helicopter landed.
Yeah. That's a long story actually. Come and see how my people were just jumping and dancing.
Do you know one thing? I've been doing PR for Ondo for a long time. I've been telling my people out there. They sometimes call, why are you in Ondo, Seth? It's a local place, and I'm like, no,
thank you, but Ondo is peaceful.
It's peaceful. It's not local. If you come here, you see good road, you see this, you see that, you see this one. It's not even Ondo town. It's a city.
It's a city.
And then they saw the social media post. So I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and the person just said, "Is it not your people that was dancing
around the helicopter?
Around an helicopter."
That's my people for you. That's our uniqueness. Just leave us like that. Thank you.
And I saw it. If one of them changed our social media
page to the helicopter girl.
Like, bro, oh God. Oh,
my Ondo people, I love you guys so very much.
We love you, but please, we are doing PR for you at the moment. Know what you are doing, you understand?
And to the helicopter girl, to shout out
girl. We understand the fact that you want to enjoy yourself, but please, we'd have told people out there that you guys are not local. Let it stay like that. Maintain steez, no matter what you're trying to do to trend, maintain steez. It's very, very important. But then last week too was very eventful in the actual sense. We saw what the presidency had been doing over time to secure the country. We saw the withdrawal from VIPs. We saw everything happening and all that. And I think I want to look at it holistically today in the actual sense.
That's very good, yeah.
And yes, I think many of our people out there too, we want to check this particular program out too as well. Well, let's first take the reports of the day. After the reports, we come back on Daybreak Africa. We delve deep into our discussion. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, it's still Daybreak Africa, and yes, it's time to go straight into our discussions for today. Now, all through last week, we all knew how things went down in Nigeria, talking about the whole insecurity issues, and then the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, having suspended his travel to South Africa for the G20 summit, decided to sit within the country, have a meeting with the service chiefs, and then lots of moves began to happen to a point where he even declared a state of nationwide security emergency and talked about the fact that they withdrew all police from VIPs and, talked about them debriefing, going through trainings, then redeploying them to some parts of the country to ensure proper policing. He also decided to recruit more policemen, recruit more soldiers as well, and he also ordered the DSS to also recruit more people as well as deploy forest guards into the forest in Nigeria to ensure that all these terrorists are chased out of the forest. He also talked to the National Assembly and told them to begin to discuss moves to ensure that state policing should be encouraged at this particular time. We saw meetings even of southern governors coming together to sit and discuss about local securities to ensure that securities, even at the local level, is paramount. And we are looking at all this at this particular time within the country, aside from the place of them, bringing back all the girls that we are, kidnapped, as well as trying to save people here there at this particular time. And people have been talking about all these moves by the presidents at this particular time to tackle the bedeviling insecurity within Nigeria. We'll be looking at all these moves today on Daybreak Africa. And to discuss with us today, we have a political analyst with us in the house. He's a friend of the house. He's vast. He is a young politician, a political enthusiast himself, in the person of Promise Oyelaran. Welcome to the show, Promise.
Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah. It's nice having you, actually. I sometimes wish we can have a time when we have you in person, full blown on the program, but well, time.
No, one day I might walk into the studio to have a live session with them.
That would be good.
That'd be very great.
That'd
be very
nice.
perfect. But then, promise, how do you see the president's response to the insecurity, especially last week when we discovered that he delayed he suspended his journey to the G20 and stayed within the country and had meetings with the service chiefs? How do you see their response currently to the many insecurity issues within the country as we speak?
Well, it's applaudable, and even though I have my reservation about the timing, it shouldn't have been now. These measures should have been put in place before now, and I would have also loved it to have been made in silence. Then when operations are started, they now make it a public, so that people can know that yes, truly, this administration has zero tolerance for any form of insurgency, any form of operations from banditry, from whatever group you want to call it, that is putting the life of Nigerians at risk. So yeah, it's applaudable, but maybe not timely.
All right. So looking at the fact that the president made these announcements a public thing, and looking at the fact that also those bandits or those gunmen also have access to information, and looking at everybody knows about what is going on in the country. Everybody knows that, okay, this is the necessary steps that the president is saying that we should take as a nation. Do you feel like, from your perspective now, that the announcements or the steps taken should have been made public or private just for the military people?
So like I said the operation should have started before now. And okay, like he said that for the forest guard, that they have been trained before now, they're just gonna start deploying them because of the level of insecurity in different forest areas in this country. Yeah, that is applaudable. But I feel that for security reasons, there are a lot of things that when it needs to be done, needs to move in silence, so that there wouldn't be too much of a breach in their operations. But still fine. One thing I just want to emphasize on is, no matter how we talk about stuff in this country, it is implementation that is very, very paramount. Yes, we know how many talks and less actions we see. All I want to see as it is right now is, okay, yes, he mentioned six major things that will go on to tackle this problem of insecurity. They mentioned the recruitment of more police officers and personnel, that they should do that as soon as possible, deploying forest guards into our forest. And also he made a clarion call to the National Assembly that they should start reviewing the existing law to help enable state policing. This is very, very important. It's a way to go. They also said in states they should avoid citing locations in remote areas that has no concrete security plans, and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's out there. He said a lot of things. Yes, some of it have to be mentioned openly, and I know that there are also a lot of underground work that might be going on even within the security apparatus to make sure that all these things work perfectly. So him saying it now, fine, but still there are a lot of things, especially when it comes to operations, how they are going to work, especially the forest guards. It's long overdue. Imagine bandits already taking over our forest and all the like. You can't travel on lonely roads without the fear of being attacked on the road. Another very important thing he mentioned is about the ranching, that enough of public grazing, that let the Ministry of Livestock come around and put in place something that would regulate people that do open grazing. Because when we look at most of these underlying issues, you'll be hearing herders versus farmers issues, clashes here and there. So I think it's also a welcome development too. puts ranches. See, in developed nations, in nations of the world, you wouldn't see livestock running around express on major roads. Even in the cities, you see livestock. It's hazardous, one, and it's also not. It causes a lot of harms. Yes, we want them to be cheaper to raise livestock, but still we should consider the pros and cons. And one of these cons are the insecurity issues that is being posed, and a lot of people hiding under the disguise of being headers to perpetrate evil. So yeah, it's welcome mentioning some of these things in public, but for me, the much of the work lays in silence. So that's my thought on that.
Now, let me start from the place of the open grazing you talked about, because I remember him talking about the fact that livestock farmers should come and begin to just talk about strategies to ensure that they regulate those that do open grazing. And you talked about the fact that even in developed countries, people don't actually go out to graze anymore because it's hazardous, and many of this. And we know that Nigeria, as we speak, real estate itself has taken a bulk of the lands that we have in this country because of the fact that many of the agrarian lands we have today, which some of the livestock farmers also make use of to feed their cows and all that, they sometimes, are already taken for lands for building and all that. So we haven't, not really smaller, but at least a bulk of the land is taken. But then President Muhammad Buhari of blessed memory, during his tenure, suggested the Ruga, and many did not take it to light. Now, if you're saying that even the open grazing of the thing, how do we address it if we want to take out open grazing totally? Because many people within the country still panders to the narrative that by the nature of the Fulanis, who happens to be the prevalent tribe that does livestock, that they tend to be extremely territorial, that if we give them this territory, before you know what happens, they take over the whole place and all those kind of things. People still pander to that narrative, and here we are, many intelligent minds talking about the fact that the best option is still to ban open grazing and just give lands to them. For how do we address this particularly? Do you think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should still fall back to the Ruga?
So one of the things I want us to understand that he particularly said they will be creating a ministry of livestock, and that ministry is actually saddled with the responsibility of seeing how they can move from open grazing to creating ranches in areas where they can. Because we won't like these livestock that are big, and they're actually a major part of our food bank when it comes to the country. And if we don't get this livestock, a lot of things will suffer, dairy products, the meat itself, and all the likes. So one thing I want you to know is, you said something about Fulanis being territorial and all the likes. It's only a place where there is no system that people tend to show that they have more power over more than what the government has put in place. And that's why, you see, one thing I want us to all know is no one is above the law. And at the long run, it depends on the systems put in place. I used to say that, I would always say, Nigerian problem is a systemic problem, nothing else. If our system starts to work and everything are like, okay, this is how it's going to be, and this is how it's going to be, and there's no way to cut corners, and there's no way to go around and make a bypass on whatever it is, then things will work in this nation. So it's just about, it's all about the systemic problem. If we can put system in place, things will work. I understand when everybody starts being pessimistic about stuff in this country, it's because they are precedents. They are precedents that we can always point to for all these things. But I just want to be hopeful, and I feel like if the right policies are put in place, then there should be no cause for alarm.
All right, so I will just want to take your perspective on this one. At this point in time, do you feel like recruitment of military personnel is really, really necessary at this point? Can't we just work with what we already have? give them reorientation, try to educate them more than recruiting more members into the military era? And also, does that mean that if we are recruiting new members into our security units, does that mean that we're going to be having less crime, less insecurity, less insurgents in the country at this point?
Okay, so one thing I want us to understand is, yes, it's an effort put in place to tackle all these security issues that we are having, but does not necessitate results. Like I said earlier, that when we look at Nigeria, we need to put aside just thoughts and action plans. What are the things that you want this police to do differently from what the current crops of police officers or police personnel or military personnel are doing? And I like it when they said, oh, they want to train them. Yes, training, but what kind of training? It's not just about training, it's about training them on what is important and what is needed on the job. Or when we look at our policemen and how they can even be of importance to us when it comes to the point of insecurity, a lot of us would even prefer not to call on them than just stay and just feel like, okay, let's leave our matters in the hands of God. Well, it is what it is, and we hope that with all these things that the president has said and he has listed, that we will see results. We see positive results, not just results, positive results. We'll see a drastic reduction in insecurity issues and problems in this country. And for those of us that believe solely and think that, and we always believe that this country will get better, we hope that maybe this is the time when are about to be answered.
But talking about, I think I like your analogy on the fact that it's an effort which does not really necessitate results and all that, and we just hope that it's going to yield the best results. I was checking some comments on social media when the presidency made this statement, and I saw one on social media which really got me, because it talked about the fact that what about the many within the security outfit of the country who are already, working directly with the bandits and terrorists, in the sense that it's been observed over time, even by some accusations by certain senators within the country, Senator Oshiomhole to be specific, and some other senators within the country, that some that are in the security units, even holding particular offices, even in the political space in the country, are sponsors and partners with these bandits and terrorists in, perpetrating their crime. Now, if we are adding more people into our security units, don't you think that we should rather look for gatekeeping that can actually purge us of, saboteurs, people that are working with these bandits within our system, than just add more people to this unit?
Yeah. So I think for me, I would always say, and I can't remember, I think it's a former head of state that made a statement that said that any insurgency that lasts more than 24 hours has a hand, has a political will in it. So I just want us to look at it in this perspective. What are the policies that even govern the current course of policing of this nation? What are the checks that also have controls that are in place to also know that, okay, the people that we actually say that they are law enforcement are really doing their job as law enforcers and not the other way around? Because, like you said, it's become a big concern, because I've had stories of where people would even see police officers that are dressed in muftis and all the likes, and forcibly taking people into custody to threaten and also make them uncomfortable. And all these things are nothing to write to, and not even good to be heard about a police force. The people that are meant to be the law enforcers, the people that are meant to secure the populace. When we look at the policing structure, and we look at how it is in this nation, do you know even in the place of developed countries, before you see military personnel being deployed for internal issues, then it must have been like it's gone out of is going out of just an internal issue. It's become a matter of national urgency. But like I said something earlier, can even the current police force, can they even tend to the issue of policing the nation? Yes, we have a police unit, but are they actually capable? Do they have the required training? Do they have the required equipment? How sophisticated? See, you see, the funniest thing is, I look at what the issues of this nation is, and I look at the solutions that they're glaring in our face. Do you know how technology has become a thing? We all, even if we've not traveled outside of the country,
we see it around us.
Movies, we've seen how crime movies, how they deal with it, with equipment and all the likes. And I wonder, these persons that these issues we face as a country, you see, even bandits, they come as far as doing live streaming on social media platforms. So what's happening to our intelligence units? So it's not just about policing. What's wrong with the intelligence units of the Nigerian security apparatus? Are they actually intelligent? We need to ask ourselves questions like that. And if our intelligence unit actually has the capacity to, like, okay, fish out anybody from whatever old that they have, it will go a long way. I think we should also look into all that as action points that needs to be carried out as soon as possible. And I hope that people in the position of authorities are also thinking towards this direction. Because, like I said earlier, any insurgency that lasts more than 24 hours definitely has a political will in it. Then, if this government is actually serious about tackling insecurity, then it shouldn't take them a long time to reach out to these people. They need to make a statement. Like he said when he was delivering his speech on this, and when they were rolling out the plans on what to do and what they have in plan, he said Nigerians deserve to live in a country where they know that they are safe. It's not too much to ask for. Everybody is just on the means of survival. Everybody just wants to make a better thing out of their life. And taking away, yes, we all know even life itself is a risk, but not that when it's some people that is jeopardizing your existence. So if we really want to tackle all these things, it's not just about adding numbers. It's not just about bringing people into the units. Scrutiny needs to be put in place to check all these police officers that have been breached, all these police officers that have been found wanting in their duties. We need to also put them to check so that we know that even the set of this new sets that you want to bring into the system would not be corrupted.
All right, I will just want to take one more questions, but before then, it's time for us to go for Go Start, where we'll learn how to start up a small-scale business and become our own CEO. And when we come back, we're going to continue with the discussion. So guys, stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, it's still Daybreak Africa. I hope you learned one or two things from Go Start, and I hope you're going to do something with what you've learned from Go Start. But then it's time to return back to our discussion where we have been looking at tackling insecurity, reviewing some of the moves by the president in the past week to ensure that insecurity becomes a thing of the past in Nigeria. And yes, we've been discussing with Promise Oyelaran all the way from Lagos, who has been giving us some of his takes on some of the moves made by the presidency. And yes, we've been learning a lot from Promise, which is very, very important at this particular time. I think Miracle had a question before we went on the show.
Of course, I have a question. And the question is that if we are going to be employing new security agencies, do we really have the resources that it takes to be a military person? Okay, we are declaring state of emergency. We want our security people to be in charge, go into forests, bushes to see that everywhere is in place. Are they well equipped? Knowing fully well that those bandits, what they are carrying is not just ordinary gun. The weapon that they are carrying is not just ordinary weapon. Are our military personnel, are they really equipped so that their lives too will not be at stake? What's your take on that?
An unpopular opinion. So when I was going to jump on this call and have this interview, I typed something onto an AI system, and I was like, security measures that could help tackle insecurity in Nigeria. And I was just laughing when I saw what the answers the AI just for me.
Okay.
I was just like, did our president also actually, or his team, search through the AI to get all these measures that they have put in place? So I'm just going to read out some of the things that the AI said. He said, 1, enhance the intelligence gathering and surveillance, strengthen and modernize security agency, community policing, border control reinforcement, and robust judicial process. That was the answer the AI gave to me. But looking at the question you just asked now, do we have the resources to actually make sure that we don't just send people on an errand that will cost them their life?
No return.
I've always been of the opinion that Nigeria is a blessed state, and it is glaring. I don't know, it's not just about being braggadocious or something. Hardly is there a nation on earth that is as blessed as Nigeria. So when we look at the lot of the citizenry and where we are, the level of poverty, the level of insecurity, the level of out-of-school children and all the likes, and so on and so forth, it makes us feel like, yeah, we really don't have resources in this land. But you see, the one thing I want us to know is there is enormous resources to do whatever we want to do in this nation. It's just about management. Do we have managers? Do we have great managers? Do we have people that can judiciously put to use the resources that we have? So in all of these things that we're talking about, we also need to understand the place of leadership. And leadership is not just about a man. It also goes down from top to bottom. From the leader, from the paramount leader to subordinates and all the people that are in charge of various spheres and various places. What do they do in that spaces? You see, in those spaces, you see, the funniest thing is, when we put in people in position, they forget that you are actually a personnel on your own. You are a leader on your own. Yes, and whatever you do has direct or indirect impact on people, even your family members. So when we're talking about setting up or employing more security personnel, we should also know that whatever we are going to do, we need to give them sophisticated training. We need to give them state-of-the-art equipment that will match whatever we have all over the world. So it's very, very important that if the government is going to do anything concerning these things, they have to do it well. Whatever is worth doing is worth doing very, very well. There's no room for lackadaisical approach. There's no room for makeshifts. Whatever we need to do, we need to go all out and make sure that we win this battle against this security.
So, Promise, let me ask this, because I was reading through, I liked what the AI actually typed there, the actual sense, but there was, and it brings me to something which I think is kind of very important if we are looking at this issue of insecurity. And that brings me to this issue of the trainings for the personnel that they are trying to recruit at this particular time, by emergency basis in the actual sense.
Yes.
The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu directed that almost all NYSC camps, as we speak, could be converted to trainings of police personnel, and as well as other personnel that are needed in the security aspect of the country. And someone said something and said, isn't that our hazard? Don't we have particular training centers kept for police officers, military men that can be used because to be more equipped with the facilities that is needed? Then someone made another statement and said, why not let's just involve or invest in community policing? Now, when the person talked about community policing, the person looked at some stories that happened last week, especially places like Ekiti local government in Kwara State and some other local government across Nigeria, though some were telltales and were not true, but some had an iota of truth where local vigilantes were able to refute attacks, or not actually repel attacks by many of these bandits, and it was kind of successful by the hands of these local bodies. We also know that we have the Civilian Joint Task Force, we have civil defense tools well there, who to a very large extent could do a good job. What's your take on the president reinvesting into those bodies and then getting more training centers, that are this emergency approach that has been adopted at this particular time?
So let us also look at it. The presidency is looking for short time, mid-long time ways of tackling these issues. So when we look at him talking about training these personnel, which, see, one thing I want us to always do as Nigerians is let's leave emotions aside when we're talking about some issues and look at it logically. Because, yes, when we talk about state policing and all the likes, would it become effective immediately also? It will take a long process to, from the laws and everything that's going to govern their existence to recruitment process also. That is, they are creating a new set of body. Okay, let's look at this also. In the Southwest, for instance, we have already an apparatus that has been agreed by the Southwestern government, the governors and governments, to put in place a Amotekun Corps. And it's not as if Southwest is not also having their own issues of insecurity or what is it, but I think it's on a low compared to other parts of the nation. And it shows that already they were forward thinking in in bringing about this kind of initiative, actually. So community policing will actually be a long-time solution to almost all the insecurity challenges that we are having, because nobody knows your environment better than locals. If you live in an environment, you know the nook and cranny, you know the hide for, you know the hideouts, you know, okay, these are the blind spots that people could use to perpetrate whatever evil they want to do. So community policing is actually a welcome development. But I also want us to understand that even with community policing, there should be training in place so that we wouldn't just have miscreants and hoodlums now start wearing the uniform of, oh, I'm a local vigilante, whereas they themselves will carry out
insecurity,
evil, will carry out crimes. So another thing I want us to understand is, I don't know what our vetting process is when we're talking about having recruiting law enforcement officials. I think we need to do more in that aspect so that we will not have people that are of questionable characters, people that might have. You see, another thing a lot of persons might have been raising as issues is, hope is not going to be the issue whereby we will be integrating people that have been a part of maybe insurgency and start putting them back into military or policing force to come and start. No, then definitely the big no for me, because they will know how they'll still, it's good if they are repentant, yes, but there should still be some checks and balances.
True.
In the United States, for instance, before you can even be a part of some security apparatus, the level of background check, the level of scrutiny that they will put you through is a whole lot, because they don't want anybody that will come and compromise the system. So whatever we are doing, whatever things we are putting in place, whatever the government is trying to do, they should also try as much as possible to warn against people that would compromise whatever they want to put in place. That's just my opinion. Community police, yes, but I feel that's for the long run, because before you even go through the legislative discussions around this, you know how it can be. But for an apparatus that is already existing and all they just need is extra support and more scrutiny, then that can work for now. So at least set the ground running for all their efforts that this said administration wants to put in place.
All right. So aside from the local policing, what other steps can small community, religious leaders, religious body can take to, stop this insecurity? Because we can't just leave it alone for the military personnel alone. Or even the federal government alone. I think here in Ondo City we have the place of Amotekun. Do you feel like other states too should take from this or learn from this? There's some ways that they can do things and make sure that insecurity can be curbed totally in their states without looking up too much or looking to the federal government alone.
Even governors correct security votes. So
exactly.
Definitely. Even from what the president said, he said mosques and churches, he said they should seek security protection for large gatherings, especially in areas that are volatile. That when they are having meetings, they should write to security apparatus and let them know that, okay, we are gathering
something
and
is going on
require you people to be in attendance. Because I won't lie to you, if you don't put all these things in place, it's still gonna be business as usual for all these people that perpetrate all these evil acts. And I feel, and I would also say, like the question you asked me, that if other states should take a cue from what the southwestern governors have done, yeah, definitely it's a step in the right direction. It goes a long way, and it shows that, yes, truly, if you are a governor of a state and you are actually the chief security officer of that state, and you take decisions like that, it shows that you actually have the security of your people at heart, and you are deserving to be their chief security officer. So definitely is a welcome development to take a cue from the Amotekun Corps. But I feel like the president has said and called on to the National Assembly, and that's why I, for one, every time I talk about the issues of Nigeria, I still go back to the place of legislation. What are the senators of all these? What are the senators of all these places, of all these geopolitical zones? What are they doing? What are the out of rep of those geopolitical? You see, the issue is because they don't even stay in their locality. They don't stay in their constituency. They don't even know the plight of their constituents. All they do is wear agbadas and babaigas all around at the National Assembly. And when it's time for election, come back and start saying, I am the one that will represent you. And it's a thing of concern for me, because at the long run, we don't really pay attention to them. All we bother them is, okay, who's going to be the next president of Nigeria? Whereas people that are supposed to represent your interest nationally are there gallivanting around, fighting about what is irrelevant. Whereas things that are relevant to the communities of where they represent, They are not even doing anything about it. Legislation is the right way to go to get things done in this country. And that's why you see in Senate times, you see where they call their president to order and be like, see what is happening here. See what is happening in Texas, for example, in the United States. You would hear their senator or their congressman come and say, we need attention. Is that the same thing in this nation? It's NO, capital letter no. And can we continue this way? We don't continue this way. We need to start paying attention to all these things. It's important. Okay, imagine whereby those senators and those House of Assembly members, those National House of Assembly members stays in their locality. They will cry out because they will feel the brunt of whatever is going on in those places also. So in whatever we are saying now, or whatever we are providing as solution, we also need to look at it in the structural way, in a structural way, the way this nation is. And you see, I would always say, the way this country and the kind of system we're running, a lot of people will say it's not the system for us. It's because we are not paying attention to the what we are supposed to pay attention to. First thing first, there is 3 tiers, there is 3 arms, and every one of them is supposed to function as checkmates for the other. But is that really what is in play in this station? Security challenges. It shouldn't even have been the president that is declaring a state of emergency on security in the first instance. The legislature should have done that a long time ago. And put the president on his stool and be like, Mr. President, our people are dying. We need you to rise to action. You are the chief executive of this nation. Please, we need you to put things in order. Not until he himself is now the one calling on the legislators to come and propound laws that will help enhance and fast-track state policing. So all these things are things that we should also look at. Physically, we should start thinking about this. Election is upon us in how many years? In less than 2 years, you're going back to the polls again. Hope it's not going to be business as usual. I hope we get it right.
Well, talking about getting it right, promise. When you talked about the legislators, it's as if you were in spirit with me. I was already trying to get back to the legislators, because one of the things that the presidency did in the past week was ensuring that all VIPs were withdrawn, all security personnel were withdrawn from VIPs. And then I saw something which many Nigerians as well did not agree with. A senator stood up in the plenary session and was saying that it doesn't support the withdrawal of, security personnel from VIPs, because they've put the VIPs too in danger of their lives being lost, just like the commoners out there who are every day at the risk of being killed or being kidnapped by the bandits. Can I have a bit of reaction from this particular statement made by the senator? Do you agree with the withdrawal of security personnel from VIPs and their redeployments to communities that are affected, or do you disagree with the senator?
I think I disagree with you. That is an insensitive statement to make, for real. Because in the first instance, the only reason why these VIPs are going about with security personnel is because they can afford it. And if the country was actually safe in terms of security-wise, they wouldn't even think about, yes, they might have private security agencies taking care of their needs. See, you see, we always tend to we always tend to face the wrong issues. Imagine this senator is actually representing a senatorial district in this country, and is making that kind of profound statement, so that the lives of the commoners does not matter. Because if the president, who is the chief security officer of the nation, is saying, let us withdraw these forces from these people, it shows that you people only care about the VIP. And we are not running a capitalist nation. It's not about the claim de la fame. It's about everybody as Nigerians. Let us not even deceive ourselves. Even with all the security apparatus or the things the VIPs have access, are they not also feeling the brunt? So if the president is saying, okay, this is a directive that will help us to tackle insecurity, why are you against it in the first instance? Because you are also a beneficiary of all these things that we are talking about. And it comes to the place whereby these people tend to forget that leaders does not make you the de facto, like you are above everyone else. You just got the opportunity to serve, and you now take your opportunity as serving as, okay, yes, I control things. Let us get the problems of insecurity right, and you will see that even the VIP will not be needing all the security details that they get or that they request for. So for that senator, I don't know. I wish his constituents, the senatorial district members, can call it the other and be like, sir, so if I'm not a VIP now, my security does not matter.
Sure.
I will have a retake when election comes. And we see that a lot of them will sit up. I will not come in on plenary sessions and spewing things that they are not even supposed to be saying.
All right, before we just finally round up, people are getting discouraged already. A lot of people who are affected by this issue of old security are getting discouraged. Even people that are not affected, one way or the other, are fidgeting like, oh, what is our own faith and all of that. So what's your words of encouragement to help Nigerian citizens at this point in time?
My words of encouragement is
to every Nigerian.
The more you see, the more you see, the less you know. I don't know if that actually is an encouragement, but it is what it is actually. Because I've noticed something actually. A lot of times we feed ourselves with what will make us fear the more, and then it tends to drive us from doing what we need to do actually. And another thing I would like to say is also for the media spaces. I think even with all these security challenges that we are having, another thing that would help us is we need a controlled media space in this country. When I say controlled media space, does not mean that we will repress people's opinion or whatever they think, but at least let people be held accountable for whatever they do or say on the media space. Because I see a lot of things and I'll be like, this place is just a leveler. People just post whatever they want to post without even thinking of whatever consequences of whatever they have posted on these platforms or even on news spaces, and how big effect it will bring on people in this country. A lot of times, a lot of fake speculations, a lot of doctored news that we see out there. And sometimes we know, because see, these people that are posting it, most of them, for real, they don't have bad intentions. But because they know that we are emotional people, they want to feed on it. And when I say feed on it, almost every social media platform in Nigeria is monetized and is about clicks and engagements. And a lot of persons knows that controversial stuff will bring a lot of engagements, and that's why they go ahead to post things like that. when we start to understand that we need to put emotions we need to put emotions aside and logic ahead, be better for us as a nation. Because a lot of things that we actually see out there is not the true representation of what it is. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Promise, for being a part of this. We really appreciate this discussion with you. And yes, like you said, I think I like the final one, especially the place of we that goes on social media to just post anything for the engagement, not realizing that many of the things we say have huge consequences on people. We also need to be cautioned too as well. And these are things that we need to just see on a daily basis, and these are the kind of admonitions we need. Thanks so much, Promise, once again.
Thank you so very much.
With you. It's a pleasure for you guys to have me. Thank you so much.
Alright, so it's time to take sports, and after sport we come back on Daybreak Africa. We just draw our conclusions and some of the discussions we've had. So please stay with us, we'll be right back.
Welcome back from that break, and I hope you guys enjoyed the guest segment that we had earlier, plus sports.
Yeah, plus sports. Thank you for saying
very important.
Because that's one of the biggest things that brings us together as a nation. It's just sad that we are seeing what the Nigerian NFF are doing at this particular period.
God will give you the strength to uphold.
Talking about NFF, I think I will even look at their issue this week. This week on Daybreak Africa.
That's good.
Definitely, we'll touch it once this week. Maybe I will call back Josh. I think Josh will be more comfortable.
Exactly. Thank you.
Or might even talk to some other people. But then talking about what Promise, the discussion about Promise, it really said a lot. And honestly, it's sad that at this particular juncture in this country, these are the kind of things that we are experiencing. Talking about the level of insecurity, the moves by the presidency. I think one of the things he said was that it should have been happening a long time ago, not just as an emergency.
Exactly.
And then he said the final place again, I want to re-emphasize that for the social media space, everybody needs to caution.
We all have to caution, honestly. It's becoming too much. People just go out there just feel like, oh, I have the freedom of speech. I can just say whatever I want. I can just do whatever I like on social media. You know that all these things have effects on people. That is why you see some of those celebrities, when they read their comment section, they are just down.
They are down.
They are down.
And I think every freedom, every speech that has freedom today must come with consequences. I don't believe in freedom of speech. I believe in consequential speeches. In a place where you become socially responsible
for everything you do as a citizen.
And say. So when you don't go to the stock market and just call someone a thief, even if it's a joke, I want more, the way they say it in the river and all those kind of things. That's a stock marketplace. Definitely there are many investors there. The minute they hear that thing, I'm already like, is it that he steals all those kind of things? You've made him lose business. And
people make meanings to different. Everybody has the way they give meanings to different things.
Yeah, to different things, and everybody needs to learn to get consequences for whatever actions they take, because the insecurities we have, and they talked about media responsibility too. We talked about secrecy sometimes as well. When the military has a move, even though you have an head start as a media person, and this is the move the military has, it's for the favor for the country. Must you break it as a news? Exactly. Not everything should be a
and we all know that all those banditry have access to information.
Yeah.
So now that we've made it public, do you think they are just going to sit down the way they are? They are going to have to double up the way they work and make their security more tight.
Information is a very vital tool in war. Honestly, or anything that has to do with security. Information
has to do with opposition.
Yeah.
You have to withdraw some information out there that you know that they can use against you.
And the lighter mode, we're talking about consequences of speech too as well. I'm just looking at the senator who made the statement that it doesn't support the withdrawal of security.
I think for the rest of his tenure, from my perspective,
it should have consequences too. Maybe the citizens should just call into order to power belongs to the people in the actual sense.
But we are not making use of the power.
Yeah, that is one thing, and truthfully, some people out there are already teaching us how to make use of the power. Like the celebrity who, as a Nigerian celeb, bullies people, even on the stage. But then he did the same thing in a very civilized stage. And today, his concerts, many are not even attending again because of the fact that he did something terrible to someone when it was built to actually sing to entertain them. But if it's Nigeria, they will still just wait it off and still go to his
They will
concert.
just go.
In the United States, no one is attending his concert right now. Everybody's just saying, now he's apologizing. That is what the people can do. That is what
this is the power of the people.
The power of the people. You can determine whatever your political leader does, and you can put them to those to do the right thing. But that's just one lesson we just all learned today. Till we meet tomorrow in Daybreak Africa, my name is still remaining under Joshua Adedi.
And my name is Miracle Odunayo. Bye,
Bye, guys.
guys.